back to old Hippocratic Oath. You know, you don't have to actually say that, apparently. It's usually part of like a special like white coat ceremony or something like that. But, there are a lot of versions of it. I didn't realize how many versions there were, I think.
Medical, that's for doctors, I think. The nurses have a different kind of oath.
Yeah, even the medical Hippocratic Oath. I remember our class way back in the day were deciding which version we wanted to use for our white coat ceremony. I realized there were so many of them. But yeah, apparently that verse "do no harm" is not actually in it. I have it on my wall. It's not actually there. No, it's like not actually in the. I don't know where that came from. It was one of those things where they say that's in the oath. It's not actually in the oath. Anyway. Okay, moving on. Ooh, iPad, iPhone of death. Anybody want to pick? Okay. She said no.
You're gonna listen to Storm?
Yes, I'm gonna listen to Storm. She might destroy us all. Avriel? How do you say that?
Never got, I know,
Avriel. Well, there you go. You didn't make it a whole semester. So you're saying withdraw? Oh, yes.
I would say maybe because it doesn't say that they're already
There's a trick in it.
But it is.
You're withholding because you never actually started it. I think you decided not to administer it in the first place. Tricky. What? What?
I thought it'd be withdrawing because it's already been deemed that. No, but you haven't.
No, but like
You haven't
What?
started treatment.
Okay, this care has been deemed futile,
Yeah.
decided not to administer antibiotics or blood products.
Like if they were already administered.
There's a difference between
it was like
administering-
go off of them, then.
Rather than stopping it. Like if they were
And
giving their
stopping.
antibiotics, please not.
I'm reading this as if they never started it.
Yeah, sometimes they never started.
Are you guys reading it differently?
Yeah.
Not necessarily this.
Care is deemed pointless.
Okay, for example,
Like you can carry minimal care.
saw this video, which, oh my gosh, I was like, hey, he's don't ever show that again. And one of the other instructors in anatomy was showing where this guy was cliff diving and he like dove and he hit the cement instead. Yeah, and something like that. The guy was already in Kussmaul breathing before they even got to him. He was done. In that case, he wouldn't have started any treatment yet.
He's dead.
Right? So I don't know. How did you read this, Kelly?
I read it as withdrawing because antibiotics and blood products would be that's what the expectation of the patient getting better. And they've already been deemed futile, so they're not, if the doctor has said that at this point, nothing we do will make them better, then what you would be giving, at this point, the patient would be given comfort care, where they're just gonna be treated for pain, maybe given food, but they wouldn't go through like more effort of trying to give them treatment to.
So it just depends on where you mentally jumped into this question, right?
Yeah, well,
Because you mentally jumped in and said, somebody's made a decision, which means they've already been evaluated, which means that there's already something going on. Yeah.
Well, when I read it and it said the care has been deemed futile, it would be like they were already being cared for before, so they just stopped going
your future courses, out of your, you know how you have mind tap questions?
Yeah.
This was out of Elsevier's.
So what was the answer?
So say if, for example, if
I can
they
get the
would have
answers.
said, decides not to administer pain medication and, feed, that would be withholding. Cause at that point, you're not, that's a treatment they're entitled to, they're supposed to get. But antibiotics and blood products, those are given with the intention of a patient getting better. At this point, this patient is futile, where they're not gonna get better. So technically, that's blood products and antibiotics that they're not needed, they're gonna be wasted on that patient, kind of, like technically.
So there's a question that's not gonna show up on your file, because I think it's too dang confusing. How about this one? Because Morgan. She picked you. She went like way out of her way to pick you. Okay. What do you think? What? Brain death? Okay, how many guys think it's brain death? Apparently this morning.
I think it's C.
And you're saying persistent vegetation. How many think it's C? How many think it's B? How about D? Well, here's the thing, because this one I actually did look up. And if it is considered permanent, it's no longer persistent vegetative. There's a key word.
I just looked it up too, irreversible loss.
Yeah, I actually had, I looked this one up, because again, I didn't get the answers, so I don't know what the actual program wanted to have. But this one, I was also going A or C, right? So I Googled this, and I Googled brain death and persistent vegetative state, both versus each other, and that one word permanent actually makes the difference, because people can recover from persistent vegetative state. I know, because at first I thought, oh wow, that's,
How would you classify it as a persistent vegetative state? Because wouldn't the symptoms be the same?
but not permanent.
But how do you know if it's permanent or not?
That's how they wrote the question. I know, in reality, I'm not sure you could make that decision, yeah.
So, but, like, if they have involuntary action, then aren't they not brain dead?
If they have involuntary action, then yes, they would technically not be brain dead, yes.
This has no voluntary.
This one says no voluntary action, so they would have to be brain dead.
But
Maybe.
it doesn't say that they don't have.
Yeah, you could have either, yeah, what?
It doesn't say that they don't have involuntary.
Well, yeah, it doesn't say a lot of things. That's why this question is, this is why this one, my initial thing was persistent also, but that one word, permanent, does make a difference. And in reality, you wouldn't know if it's permanent, would you? I remember there was this one study that somebody did. He was a med student, actually, many, many years ago. It's like classic, with determining if somebody's brain dead or not. He literally put up EEGs, the electroencephalogram leads, in a bowl of Jello in an intensive care unit, and that thing had waves just from the ambient electricity in the air. So this is an extremely hard thing to say if someone is technically brain dead or not, or whether they're in a persistent vegetative state. If it's written down, if the word permanent's in there, then that makes the decision. In reality, that's really, really, really hard to tell. That's why some people stay in comas for forever, because they don't know.
Couldn't they do like a brainwave and see if there's any?
That's what I'm saying. Jello came up with, it had brain function.
Oh, wow, okay.
A bowl of, literally a bowl of Jello. He stuck it on the Jello. So, yeah, it's not as cut and dry as you think. Now, obviously, somebody clearly has some kind of, massive trauma that just shredded their brain or something, Okay? How about this one? 33-year-old Patient admitted with closed head trauma following a motor vehicle crash. She has signed an organ donor card expressing her wish to become an organ donor. Brain death is established. However, her spouse refuses consent for her organ donation. Which ethical principle is being violated by her spouse? Again, this is an example that Natalie was using that says they would probably take the word of her spouse anyway, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Need a Pac-Man. Who? You're not in the picture? Oh yeah, she's right there. Had to blow that thing up so high. Yeah, Lena. What do you think?
Are you baiting me?
Lena? Got a 25% chance you're gonna guess.
Would it be A?
What?
Would it be A?
Would it be A? Autonomy, how many people think it's A? A lot of people agree with you. We're gonna have to know what the survey says on that one, right? Because that is the principle of they get to make their own decision. Okay? Questions on that? Yes?
So like what you were saying earlier, what her spouse is doing,
In reality, he may have violated the principle of autonomy, but in reality, since you don't want to get sued, you probably listen to him anyway. Which is what Natalie was saying. So it doesn't negate the fact that he violated that principle. Practically speaking, though, she's not going to sue you. All right, next one. Nurse understands which statement regarding ethical care is true and the end of the Jordan. Which Jordan? What? This Jordan's blocked. Really? Oh. Okay. How many people think it's A? B? C? D? So like 10 people said it's A and nobody said anything else. What do you think? A? Okay? Again, this is kind of a lousy question in my opinion because they need to finish their answers, right? A is true if they already made it clear when they were hired, right? Yes?
I read though that you can't be forced to do something against your ethical or moral principles.
That is true.
So what if you didn't disclose it eventually? They can't force you to do it, so
Nobody has forced you to do anything. This is about requesting a change. There's a should request a change, right? I mean, no, you should not do something against your wishes or your own ethical and moral principles. But